Hi friends, and welcome to a Homemaker's Bookshelf, the cozy corner of the internet where we talk about books we're staying way too late to finish. I'm Christian, and around here we share honest book thoughts, cozy reading moments, and the stories that make us laugh, gasp, or immediately text a friend and say, "You have to read this." Whether you're listening while folding laundry, baking something in the kitchen, rocking a baby, or curled up with your favorite coffee and a good book, I am so glad that you're here. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about today's book. Today we are diving into The Housemaid's Secret, and I have a lot of thoughts. Completely spoiler-free for this episode, I promise, do not worry. So this is the sequel to The Housemaid, and if you've read the first one, you already know the kind of tension and pacing that we're walking into. If you have not, don't worry, you can still enjoy this one, and I'll keep everything completely spoiler-free. This book falls into the category of just one more chapter, just like I said about the first book. And before you know it, you are halfway through the book and wondering how in the world you got there so fast. The best way that I can describe the feeling of this book is quietly unsettling. It's not loud, it's not dramatic in an obvious way. It's more like something just feels off. From the very beginning, there's a sense that things aren't quite what they may seem, and that feeling never really goes away. She does really good, Frieda McFadden, on doing this in both books, in my opinion. Once again, we're inside someone else's home, and I swear the author does such a good job of making a house feel uncomfortable, to say the least. If you have this picture-perfect environment on the outside, but underneath there is definitely tension. There are rules, there are boundaries, there are things that aren't being said, and as a reader, you can definitely feel that. Without giving anything away, this is one of those books where you're constantly questioning people. You're trying to read between the lines of anything that they say. Every interaction feels like it could mean something more. And I found myself going back and forth the entire time, like, okay, yeah, I trust this person. Nope, never mind, I take that back. Wait, maybe I was right the first time? It definitely keeps you on your toes in the best way. This book really leans into the psychological tension. It's not about jump scares or anything like that. It's about discomfort. It plays with perception, with control, with what people show on the surface versus what is actually happening underneath. And that's what makes it so gripping, because it feels possible in a way. This is one of those books that is very easy to fly through. I read it in just 3 days. And honestly, if I didn't have a baby, I probably could have read it faster. The chapters are short, the writing is very direct, and there's something pulling you forward. You don't feel overwhelmed by reading it, but you also don't want to put it down, which in my opinion is the perfect combination. I went into this expecting a quick, entertaining read, and I absolutely got that. It delivered everything that I expected. But what surprised me was how invested I stayed the entire time. There wasn't a moment that I felt bored during this book, and I was constantly trying to figure everything out, which I love in books like this. This is one of those stories where your brain is working the entire time, but in a fun way, not a stressful way. I think what really makes this book stand out is how simple the concept is, but how layered it feels when you're reading it. It takes something very ordinary, finding a job, a home, everyday interactions, and turns it into something that feels tense and unpredictable. And that contrast is what keeps you hooked. If you like fast-paced reads, books that are easy to get into, psychological tension, trying to guess what's going on before it's revealed, then you will absolutely enjoy this. And if you liked the first book, this one keeps the same energy. If I had to give a cozy bookshelf rating, I would say that this kind of book is the one that you read curled up on the couch with a blanket and a cup of coffee or tea. And then suddenly it's dark outside and you didn't realize how much time has passed. Overall, this was such a fun and engaging read. It's not overly complicated, but it keeps you thinking, and it definitely keeps you turning the pages. And honestly, there's something about stories set inside a home, a place that's supposed to feel safe, that makes everything a little more unsettling. If you've read The Housemaid's Secret, I would love to know, did you try to figure out as you were reading, or did you let the story take you along for the ride? And if you haven't read it yet, this is definitely one to add to your list if you're looking for something fast-paced and gripping. I will definitely do a more detailed version and spoiler version soon, because I have so much more that I want to go into detail on with this book, because yes, I liked it, but at the same time, there were some moments that I was ready to read through and just get it done and over with. So, stay tuned for a spoiler edition of The Housemaid's Secret. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next episode of A Homemaker's Bookshelf.